Hey, welcome in, welcome back. This is the Winning Edge Football Podcast, and that is brought to you by Red Bull Energy.
Wow.
You have wings? Because I do. Then we're going to go talk about the Week 12 of college football. We're going to talk a little bit about the college football playoff as they just released the new bracket. And there's some shakeups, and there's some fan bases that are pretty ticked off, to say the least. We're also going to jump into the NFL as we're kind of close to the divisional rivals and divisional standings as the playoffs are kind of knocking on the door closer than we think and that we want. And then we'll wrap it up with a little bit of, predictions on what this next week of college football looks like in the week 13 games. Now that Dan just dropped 6.5 inches, good for him.
My chair, the chair just sank down.
I'm brought to you by and joined by, I should say, Mr. Daniel Gallagher and Jordan. I forgot his last name. His name is Beach.
I just have one. I just have a first name.
Said your government name.
I'm like
He's
Pitbull.
So guys, how we doing?
And
Dan, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Back out on the road, as we get into the end of the season, doing the tour through the Big Ten, kind of getting the pulse of the locker rooms, as it were. Down here,
playoffs, man, a lot of good talent out there playing big time games, so you gotta go find them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to go to where that's our thing is we go to where the action is, right? Like we bring it to you, and I got to say, thanks to Red Bull and Hooters because like without their sponsorship, I mean, we wouldn't be able to afford to send me out on these road trips like this.
And you're not picking no fucking days in, saying you're at the motherfucking Hilton. Come on now.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother conversation for another time. This was
thank you, Hooters and Red Bull. Jordan, how the hell are you, man?
We're doing all right, man. We're doing okay. Pushing along, having a good time. Family's healthy. I'm healthy, feeling good. No complaints over on my end, dude. So yeah. Daniel Jones is benched. I mean, I'm good, living large, feeling good. So I can't complain over here.
Well, your camera's looking very crispy right now, and
hey, thanks, man. I appreciate that.
Awesome on camera, Dan. So do you, man. You're popping out like a pimple. I just want to squeeze you. You know what I'm saying? Come here, little boy. I'm very
super
pumped to be back. I'm very happy to be back with you guys. Thank you guys for. I mean, it's a flood to me because it's it's almost been like a subscriber per day at this point, and we're all the way up to 53 now, I think, on YouTube.
What?
So, super appreciative of that. You guys are awesome. Slowly and surely joining and then tagging
you said
along.
At 50, you were going to do OnlyFans stream or something?
No, 65. I was going to do a live stream of the podcast. So if we get there, I really want to get to 100 by the end of the year, but that's a tough task. I mean, that's a huge jump that we need to do, but I know that we can get it done with you guys. So
yeah,
if you haven't asked Santa. Already, go ahead, ask Santa Claus, man. And I've been on the nice list. I think I've been a good boy this year. Really have.
Okay.
I'm a good boy.
I'm proud of you.
Let's jump into Week 12 college football. Let's react to some of these games. Let's just start right at the top. Right, number 1, Oregon escapes a Wisconsin team that I had to tune into that. It was insane. I don't know how they scored only 16 points. It was a very odd football game. But hey, that's Big Ten football. Dan, what's your thoughts on the number 1 team struggling in Wisconsin?
So I didn't get to watch the game. Like I was surprised when I saw that, and I guess maybe since you saw it, my thought was I'm like, okay, maybe are they resting some of their key players trying to go into the last part of the year or what? But we did say last time we talked about that's Wisconsin, right? Like they always have the tendency, like if they're not competing, like then they're like, well, we'll pop up and we'll throw off an Ohio State or a Penn State or somebody, right? So I think this was they tried, and Oregon maybe just got a little lucky in that respect.
As we look at it, there's only 1 turnover for Oregon, 1 turnover for Wisconsin. So it wasn't even like a turnover heavy. It just looks like, the field goals were in the beginning, and then they kind of kept Wisconsin around, and they started scoring touchdowns. So it's like, oh, boy, now we got a game on our hands. So it's crazy to say. I did not expect Oregon to be maybe like a slow start at the first half, but, after halftime, get after it. So just baffles me for that game. So, but it just shows it's Big Ten football is hard. Jordan, what's your take on that?
My take is Oregon didn't play. Oregon probably played their worst game and still came out on top. At the second half, I think Wisconsin decided to show who they actually were instead of the first half decided to surprise a lot of people. So I don't know if I take too much out of it versus Oregon's slow start and everything, because I don't think Wisconsin's that good. I mean, especially 96 yards passing, right? And so like not a ton of offense, right? So like I don't know. So I'm not going to take too much away from it. Also, not going to put too much pressure on Oregon because I think we started that off at the beginning of the year doing that, and then they kind of were like they showed everybody like, oh no, we're still Oregon and we still handle our business. So yeah, like I said, not too much to take away from it other than you can't slip up, and that was probably a trap game for them. So
Yeah, well, I mean, hell, a win's a win. You know, at this point,
right.
If you go undefeated, who gives a shit? You know,
Well, apparently, you know what? On that point, apparently not, because there's some people out there who would take a 2-loss, 3-loss Georgia team that has a tough schedule, even though they lost 2 or 3 games. But then, you know, they're going to give these people who win their games. But I'm not going to go on my rant quite yet. So, you know, let's move on. Let's start reacting to some of these games.
All right.
He's ready to cook. He wants to get in the kitchen.
I am fired up. I kind of just want to swap over right now. We only got a couple games we need to talk about anyway, so we don't have to get too far into it. Texas struggles a little bit on the road. Arkansas only scores 20 points on offense. They looked a little rough too, but then again, I think we're in the same boat we just talked with Oregon and Wisconsin. It's latter half of the year. You know, they've been beating the shit out of each other, and it just proves the point that these conference matchups are not just a cakewalk anymore. And that kind of proves the point right there. I mean, Arkansas is going to be a tough football team no matter what. And as the end of the year comes kind of crashing down on that. Penn State handles their business 49-10 on the road to Purdue. And Dan, see the score there. That's how you handle Purdue. I don't know. Illinois could not even do that. I think they 49-48 some shit was
win's a win, right, Zach? I think we just said that. So
I said if you're undefeated, you know, win's a win if you're undefeated. But if you lose a game and you know, now you got to fucking put the brakes on, you know, or get after it, not put the brakes on. You got
whatever. We weren't the one out of their 1-9, so that's all I care about.
That's right. I like it. And then the big upset. Well,
a couple
not
of
really
upsets,
the big upset, but yeah, I mean it was crazy to see another. You know, again, undefeated team goes down. It's hard to be undefeated in college football. Kansas beats BYU at home in a late night thriller. Like, what a ball game. I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that, but the Mormons were going wild at first, and then Kansas just played consistent football.
So much jump pumping and soaking that night out of sadness, dude, just trying to drown their sorrows.
That's right. Did you guys expect to see BYU lose a game this year? I know we talked about it a little bit last week, but it was just kind of crazy to see.
I mean, I guess I would have thought they could lose, but Kansas wouldn't have maybe been the first thing that would have come to mind. Like that's who they'll lose to.
Yeah, I think I didn't think that's who they would lose to either. Kansas State was a better chance for them, but they waxed Kansas State. So I don't know. It's just a shakeup for the Big 12, like we were talking about. Colorado being sneaky up, getting up in there, man.
Yeah, watch out for Colorado for sure. Speaking of Colorado, they handle their business in dominant fashion against the Utah Utes, 49-24. Absolutely, just took care of business. And Travis Hunter made way for the Heisman claim. He now leads the Heisman race as the number one choice. You know, as bet he's going to win this thing, and he made a good point last week. They try stopping him, and no matter what, he finds a way to dominate. So, Colorado, another Big 12 team that's sneaky and has a good chance to get that first round bye. Now that BYU is lost, especially.
Yeah, I don't know if I agree with Travis Hunter being top, at least for some people. I can't say everybody being the top Heisman choice or leading the Heisman race right now. I still give it to Gene T. I think it just where it needs to fall right now. He didn't have a terribly impressive game last week. You know, he had one touchdown, a rushing touchdown, honestly, and 5 receptions for 55 yards. So, I don't know, pretty pedestrian for Heisman numbers. Granted, when you've got Gene T over here doing what he does every single week. So,
yeah, you want to hear
just
some
it's a little strange, that he is at the top for some of these experts, if you will.
On defense, didn't he have like 2 picks or 3 picks or something like that on defense?
I mean, there weren't he had
solo picks or tips and things like that, but still, he's in right place, right time. But good for him, whatever. But you know, some people, I heard some shit on Pat McAfee show. I don't know who the guy's name was. I should learn these things. But he's saying, I don't see Genty winning the Heisman unless he goes crazy, like video game numbers, like 300 yards rushing in the next couple of weeks. Otherwise,
what
he
he's
doesn't
been
deserve to
doing.
win it. I was like, that's what he's been doing all year. You not fucking turn the television on?
That's not fair.
I said,
Yeah,
dude, only reason they beat San Jose State this weekend was Genty. He wasn't
Yep.
going in the first quarter. They didn't score a freaking point. And then he drops 3
Yeah.
touchdowns, 159 yards. And it's like, oh, okay.
Yep.
Like, what
I
else
mean,
wants
yeah,
this
I
guy to
don't
do?
agree.
32 carries, 159, 3 touchdowns. What else do you want this kid to do?
Yep.
At Boise State, by
yeah.
all means. I mean, he's carrying the fucking team.
It's weird because I feel like Travis Hunter, they're giving maybe him more credit. They're like, I don't know. It's weird, right? It's almost like, well, he's at Colorado, so it's different. It's like, but Colorado and Boise State, like, they're really not that different. I mean,
true.
but it's like it works against Ginty, but it like seems to work in favor of Travis. Like, it's kind of an odd dynamic.
It's and then I think I go to kind of how we talked about the MVP of the NFL. It's pretty much like a popularity vote anymore. And obviously you got Deion Sanders, his kid, and then you got Travis Hunter. Great player. It all means I don't want to disrespect him in a sense, but
Yeah,
they're talking about 1 and 2 overall picks, and that can't carry you for what this season is. Like, it's I don't know. I'm just glad that it's not like a quarterback on the number 1 team in the country like it has been the last couple of years. But still, in all hindsight, like you got to look at the stats and look at what that player means to that team. And obviously, Travis Hunter means a lot to Colorado.
Yep.
They don't do what they're doing without him and some other pieces. And the same thing with Genty. But then you have to go down to it. Like, what are we doing? I mean, obviously, Colorado's playing better competition, but Boise State's playing competition to their level. Like they're not like playing Mercer, and they're not playing, these New Mexico's. Well, they are playing New Mexico States, but you know what I'm saying.
I know what
they're
you.
not a
I
Power
know what
5
you mean. You can,
team.
and that's part of my rant though. Like you play who you play, and if you play them in a dominant fashion, what else are you supposed to do? You know what I mean? These schedules are made in X amount of years in advance, especially if you're in a conference. Like those games are picked for you. You know what I mean? So there's not a lot you get to change with some of those things. They played better competition. Great. But how do you know what the competition is unless both teams have played the same team? So that's my whole thing is like, you take all these teams that are Big Ten heavy and they play all Big Ten teams. And then you're like, well, the SEC is really, really good. They beat up on each other. Well, that's great. But does that mean they're really good or does that mean they're all mediocre? We don't know because they're not going to play anybody outside of their conference until you get to playoff time. So
put Colorado up against Oregon. I'll see what they do. Boise
Right,
State, they took them to 4 point or 4 point spread. Like they almost beat Oregon at home, and they were on the road. So like, you're telling me this team can't ball, and they're not ranked 13th in the country for no reason. Like they're.
And I'm not trying to diminish. Yeah, I'm not trying to diminish what Travis Hunter is doing, playing both ways. We've talked about it, week after week, how impressive that actually is. But me personally, I would give it to Ginty as just I think he is the best player in the country. And that's just, what the Heisman actually should be about, right? So, I don't know.
Joe or Dan, sorry, what game stands out? I know we talked about upset, but you just said there's another one on your list. So go ahead and talk on that. What kind of upset you looking at? What game was that?
Real quick, before I will. I was gonna say because Jordan brought up the SEC. Was it odd to anybody else that this late in the season Alabama was playing Mercer? Did that seem? I guess maybe I thought like that was an odd. That seems like what would be at the beginning of their schedule. I don't know why that just stood out to me as kind of an odd placement of that.
Yeah,
game.
I mean, what's the competition there, man? I mean, nobody else is playing Mercer, just Alabama's playing Mercer.
They're 9-2, bro. They're 9-2, bro. Or 9-1 when they played them.
But game wise, as far as what stuck out to me, obviously, I kind of go back and forth. New Mexico, like Washington State, I know is 8-2, but New Mexico, obviously, like even with that win, I think they're not even 500 or 500. That was surprising, but I think tied with that for me was the Florida LSU thing.
Yeah, that was a good game.
Both kind of surprising in the way that they played
Brian
out.
Kelly. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah,
I'm so glad LSU's getting the Brian Kelly effect right now.
Mm-hmm.
Undisciplined.
You asked for it.
Uncoachable.
You asked for it, man.
I mean, not even changing up your game plan. Like it's literally the same shit every fucking quarter with Brian Kelly.
And
it's funny because Notre Dame's sitting at 6th in the country and LSU's 22nd, and Notre Dame's sitting at one loss all year. And so let's just put it in perspective here. If Brian Kelly was coaching this Notre Dame football team, and they lose to Northern Illinois, the season's fucked. No one gathers, no one combines, no one gets back together and gets on the rails.
Mhm.
The team is fucked, they're done, they don't care. And that's the attitude probably coming from straight from the top of the leader. When you get a leader like Marcus Freeman getting the boys rallied up and understanding, look, we can't do that again.
Who's played the game?
And who's played the game and who's played at a high level at Ohio State.
Mhm.
So that's my Brian Kelly rant. Fuck you, Brian Kelly.
See you
Sorry,
later, bud.
I feel bad for
Yeah.
LSU fans that have to endure this, but especially after coming off of Joe Burrow and all the good, the last couple of years have been pretty damn good and fun to watch. But I think it's going to be a long paddle upriver for the LSU Tigers.
Yeah.
I think tigers can swim, though, at least. I don't
They can
know.
swim probably, yeah. But not for very long. They're a big animal, man. It's tough, a lot of missiles.
Jordan,
what kind of what game were you looking at this weekend that kind of stuck out to you? Other than your Penn State Nittany Lions.
Breaking news: Tigers are excellent swimmers. Sorry, confirmed.
Confirmed. They got like web paws or something.
I googled it.
Okay, cool.
I think the that Tennessee Georgia game was pretty interesting. Good takeaway from there. I think SMU also Boston College was an interesting game.
Yeah, that was kind of cool. I like SMU. I think they're a good squad.
Yeah, I think they're good, and they're gonna obviously challenge for the ACC championship. But I don't know. You guys covered most of the good ones. None of these other ones really stuck out. The Oregon, Wisconsin one, fantastic, but not a huge week for a lot of insane stuff. The BYU thing was probably the most shocking.
Biggest headline, yeah.
But yeah. So we're getting there, man. We're getting there. These games are important every single week. So
every single week. South Carolina plays Missouri real close. They're 5-3 in the SEC. Like they're right there knocking on the door. Tulane dominates Navy, which is crazy to see. 35-0.
That's wild. Yeah, given what Navy was.
Yeah, that's a tough team to shut out, especially. I'll touch on Notre Dame quick just because I'm a homer, and this is the type of games I like to see. I'd like to see a little bit more points, but they started pulling guys pretty early in the third quarter, so I can't really get too upset. But at home playing senior day, and they just from the start finish dominated. Absolutely, just took care of business, and like about time, right? This is the Notre Dame team that I knew in the beginning of the year that we could find out and have. Obviously, with that setback in Northern Illinois, everyone will talk about it all year long until the year's over.
Year. I'm going to talk about that forever.
Forever. But no, I think Marcus Freeman's got the boys fired up right now, and the defense is playing damn good football. You give up 14 points, 7 in the third, 7 in the fourth, pretty much garbage time football. Nothing too exciting. It's just they're shutting teams out, and I mean, Virginia still you got not elite, but you got top tier, D1 athletes going to those schools. So it's not like they're playing Mercer. They're not playing, San Jose State or whatever. Like they're playing Virginia and whatever. But they're handling their business, and I love to see it. And Riley Leonard's getting to full groove. He's got a really good handle on his offense now. I feel bad for talking so much shit about him after the first 3 weeks, but he's needed to get rolling. And they've offensive coordinator from LSU. I just cannot believe how he's adapt. Every single game he's adding and adding and adding and adding. Like they're not even close to their climax yet. And I'm so excited to watch what that could be. A possible home matchup against Alabama, which would be fucking bananas. We'll get to that though. So that about wraps up the Week 12 reactions. I mean, there's really nothing else like we talked about that really stood out. So it's 3 big points. We got Oregon scraping by Wisconsin. We got good old freaking Georgia taking care of business versus Tennessee. Sorry, had like 3 tabs open there. And then obviously Florida beating LSU, and then also the Colorado kind of domination. So that's your big points of this week. Other than that, like Jordan said, not too many talking points, right? Not too much really going on. With that, we already kind of touched on it. Let's segue. Go ahead.
I mean, there is that whole thing we were talking about before the show that you guys were all like, "Oh my god, I can't believe it." And I was like, I know. Like Illinois being back in the top 25. It's like, guys, calm down. I don't know why you guys are embarrassed to bring it up. Like, it's fine. I get it. You were excited, right? Like some of us aren't.
Well done.
See, as I'm in Nebraska, I've been wearing this around, and I've been itching for people to engage me in conversation. Like, we guys beat you, just to remind them.
I love it.
And they're like, okay, and I'm like, well, it's a big deal for me.
which you think it'd be a bigger deal for them because that's all they have out there. So you would think that'd be quite a bigger scene than it is. But let's jump right into the Heisman. Okay.
Hey-o.
Top 4 all matters really at this point. Well, Tyler Warren, great player. I just don't think he has a chance to win the Heisman, sadly.
No shot.
I'd love to have him up there higher, but
It's cool to see a tight end in there, though, man. I mean, let's be honest.
I'm
I'm a little surprised Cam Ward's still up there after their loss. I guess usually you think that kind of coincides with them with the voting of him being lower.
I see
Or
what
at
you
least
mean.
I would have thought.
Yeah.
Like you
He's
said,
still
popularity
balling out, though.
contest, right? Like they punish him for stuff that's beyond his control was what I would have expected, I guess.
I mean, he's still leading the NCAA and
Yeah,
in,
he's an
in
electric ball
passing.
player, man. He's an electric
Yeah.
ball player. So number 1, they're saying Travis Hunter. We talked on that. Ashton Genty. We talked on him as well. Cam Ward. Dan mentioned that he's kind of surprised to see it. I'm not. I'm actually.
Yes, we can. Yes, we can. Right?
Yes, we can. But he is another player that is carrying that team. If he doesn't go, that team doesn't go. So obviously he has and his stats back up with his play this year. He definitely has a deserving seat in New York. Number 5, the quarterback for IU. Obviously, IU having a hell of a year right now on a huge run, and he's on top 5, even with I think missing 3 games, something like that.
Yeah, he hasn't moved, right? So that's kind of wild.
So they're very, very high on that kid, which I haven't really seen him play too much. Maybe we'll see it this weekend versus Ohio State. I'm excited to see that matchup. But so you got him and you got Tyler Warren at 6, like Jordan said, tight end, guys. If you have not turned on a Penn State ball game, you see 44 all over the fucking field. I mean, there's not a play that he's not involved with impactively. Getting his hands pretty dirty, getting after it.
Here's a hot take for you.
Let's see.
That Ohio State game, if they give him the ball at the 1 yard line, I guarantee you we're talking something different here. And that Penn State Ohio State game goes into overtime or at least come down to the wire.
Something.
But I'm telling you, man, they give him the ball down there in the goal line. Oh, it's a different. But they didn't do it once. But what do I know?
Well, yeah, I mean, just like I told you guys that the refs robbed Illinois of that game against Minnesota. Like, if those 2 things at the end would have gone right, then all their other mistakes would have not been the issue. It was just them.
Yeah, puppy. So yeah, then we're getting to Jackson Dart, Shadir Sanders, Diego Pieva, quarterback from Vandy, and then Jalen Milroe. Which I'm surprised Jalen's so down on this list. Like I expect him up there by Shadir. Or even over Jackson Dart. He's just an elite player in his own right, man. He's a damn good football player. And it's kind of at Alabama right now. If he doesn't go, they don't go. Honestly,
yeah, 100%. Yep,
and it's pretty tough. But I mean, really, anyone from 6 down, it doesn't really matter at this point. Like I think it's kind of rock paper scissors for the top 4.
Right.
In all reality, Dylan Gabriel obviously very very respectful and deserving of that 4th spot at least. To go sit. And the Pat McAfee said it was funny. They said, well, at least he'll get a nice dinner. Like he's not going to win, but like, damn, at least he's going to be there and have that whole time. And it'll be fun.
Yeah, exactly. Do you know Jalen Milroe has 17 rushing touchdowns on the season and 15 passing? That's crazy.
Dude, he's an absolute animal. And these last couple of weeks, they found out, wow, our quarterback can run. And they're just letting him run wild. Kind of like how,
design runs for him. I mean, let's do it.
Yeah, they're actually like getting him rolling, which about freaking time. I mean, the season's about over, boys. I don't know about you. But yeah, so that's the Heisman. Obviously, it changes. Well, it hasn't really changed week to week, quite honestly. It's been pretty consistent, and we probably won't talk about it until it changes dramatically again, which we don't think it will. I think obviously your top 4 is your top 4. It'd be cool to see Tyler beat out number 5 there at Curtis, so that'd be fun.
Yeah, we'll see.
We'll see, but.
Maybe it'd be cool if he got invited, but the top 3 is pretty established right now.
Yeah, it's kind of like when Manti Te'o got invited. Like we all knew in the back of our minds he probably wasn't going to win it. It's super hard for a defensive player.
I was pretty hopeful that he was.
I don't know. He might have thought a lot of things were going on. Apparently, he's really easy to.
Yeah, he probably thought all kinds of stuff was going on in the brain.
Everybody's having a dinner for me. Like
this is for me. This is great. Where's my girlfriend?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I forgot she died and turned into a guy.
Oh, hot take. Let's fucking go. Oh my god, boys.
So what's she look like? I don't know. She hides under a blanket every time I talk to her.
She never shows her face on camera.
It's weird. Yeah.
Don't know why.
Mm-hmm.
We're getting too far in. All right, let's take a gander at week 13. Week 13 is upon us in college football, and we have
Man,
there's
I
two
forgot about the
games
Fox
that are
thing.
important. What?
I forgot when I saw the Fox thing. I'm like, oh God, I forgot that was their other big stupid decision.
Yeah, at noon, baby. So yeah, we got a noon kickoff. Obviously, top game of this weekend, without a doubt. Can't put a finger close to anything else. IU going to Ohio State. You got 5 versus 2. The first time at IU, I don't think the Hoosiers. They said the Hoosiers haven't beat Ohio State since like '88 or some shit
Mhm.
like that. So that's banana land.
1888.
Yeah, 1988.
Oh, I was say I would have pegged 1888. I didn't even think they would beat
I
him
wasn't
back
even
then.
close to being thought of or born. So that's fucking bananas too.
Hey, by the way,
What's up?
shout out to Signetti getting his offer.
Yeah.
Signing that big deal.
8 years,
Yeah,
$8 million a year, and $1 million a year retention bonus.
So what happens if he gets
You-
fired? Like he still get guaranteed that, or
I don't.
Yeah,
Out of that, I
100%.
don't know. The bonus.
Yeah, you
maybe
get your
not,
money.
but,
being a coach, especially in NFL, being a coach and getting fucking fired is probably the best thing that ever happened to you.
the baseball's the other one. I mean, those guys, everything's guaranteed, right? Like you can get injured
Ask,
day 2.
Yeah.
I mean, look,
Bobby-
Chris
Charlie Weiss,
Kingsbury,
dude.
Yeah.
Chris Kingsbury got fired from Arizona and went on like a golf trip and a honeymoon for like 2 years straight because he was still getting paid like 6 or 7 million a year, no matter what he did for like the next 2 years. So like you have to
Well,
fulfill
I
the contract, and then now he's the head or the offense coordinator for Washington, kicking ass, and they're thinking about head coaching. I'm like, I don't think he wants that shit again.
Dude, well,
that's
think
another
about
rabbit hole.
Charlie Weiss, dude. Charlie Weiss, Ty Willingham got those like 10-year deals, and then they sucked a couple years after that, and then
Yep, they just got
they
ready.
still
They're
get
racking
paid.
it in.
They got paid. Yeah.
They're racking in. So let's predict. Dan, we'll start with you. IU, Ohio State. Who wins this ball game?
Here's the thing. I'm gonna like my gut is telling me that Ohio State is like I'm leaning them to win, but I want IU to win, and I'm not even an IU fan. And typically in come basketball, especially,
So
like
this is
I'm
huge right now. Coming from Illinois.
vehemently after, yeah. But again, they're the representative of all the teams, right? That we at the beginning of the season may have been like the shakeup of the status quo type program. And so, like, and Army, like, I'm still rooting for Army. Like, these teams that you were like, where did they come from? Like, great, like, let's do that. So I would say I'm leaning like 65-70% that Ohio State's gonna win, but 100% I want IU to win.
Okay, Jordan. Because this matters a lot for your Penn State needed line.
I can tell you what he's
No,
gonna say. Penn State's gonna win. They're gonna come in third party. Surprise.
No,
They're beating them at halftime.
this determines who plays Oregon, really, when it comes down to the conference championship matchup, right? So, well, as long as everybody else wins out, right? So that if whoever wins this and they continue to win and Oregon continues to win, this is who is going to be playing Oregon in the conference championship. So, I think my want and desires are going to outweigh my brain. So my heart is Indiana. My brain is telling me to go with Ohio State just because of, but I also think Ohio State is extremely vulnerable. And there's been 2 games that have shown that, and take what you will. I'm going to say the Penn State game gave you some things to work with on how to beat them. Oregon definitely did. So I think there's enough there for if Signetti is the coach that he is given himself to be. I think they can pull it out because there's enough tape and enough close games where you can see Will Howard make a mistake, or you know what I mean, those kind of things, and kind of solidify yourself and take advantage of those mistakes. But you just see Indiana really just steamroll everybody. So it's kind of like you don't get any adversity other than the Michigan game, which wasn't really those other games that we talked about. But I'm going to go with IU. I think just for fun. I think just because that's what I want more than what I think is going to happen.
Will it into existence?
Fuck it.
Yeah. So I can't go too far away from where you guys are at. Like literally, I'll touch on everything. The point you guys just made. I think it's the world versus Ohio State this week. I think everyone kind of wants to see Ohio State fail if you're not a Ohio State fan, honestly. Just because of the story, because the wagon that they do have. I'm excited for everyone. Well, it would have been really cool to see it on prime time so everyone can tune in, but a noon game is tough. Maybe you can put the kids down for a nap or something to really get into it and enjoy it. But either way, it's gonna be tough. But the world's gonna see what IU's made of. And honestly, this is the test, right? This is the test. All this work all year long, grinding and working your ass off. This is where it comes down to fruition. This is when you cash your jam check. I know the playoffs might, a good possibility for you guys, but this is where you cash your check in and go to the bank and say, hey, it's time to go, right? I really, really want to see IU win this game. It'll be really badass. Just for the sport, right? Mainly for the sport and the integrity of college football and why we love it so much. So that's kind of just me wrapping everything up into a burrito and then shoving it in my mouth.
Do you think if IU loses, do you think they still go to the playoff?
Yeah, I think they do. This is what kind of I think in my mind what has to happen. I think if IU keeps it within 10 points, they don't get blown out. If they keep it within a respectable manner, I think then they have a great chance to still be in there. Hell, BYU is still in the playoffs after getting beat from number 6 to I think they're 14th now. Yeah, 14.
So that's still them expecting to win the conference. So that's still a toss up.
Yeah, so that's a toss up. But then honestly, I think they still have a spot somewhere in these 12 teams. Because like you said, the SEC, they really beat the shit out of each other this year, and I really don't foresee them having any more than 3 teams in there. I think the Big Ten puts 4 teams in the playoffs.
That's wild. The SEC will have 5 teams in there. That's crazy. 5?
Yeah.
No, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4. Sorry. Crazy. Wild.
Wild times. The next game that I will talk on, obviously that game being the premier matchup, but the game that's at 7:00, if you guys want to tune at nighttime, at Yankee Field, the Army Black Knights are going to go up against Notre Dame Fighting Irish, and that's number 19th. They're in the country, Army, undefeated, going against number 6 team in the country, Notre Dame, 9-1. Huge game for the Army midshipmen, the Army Black Knights. This could be a program changing, a win right here. They really could. Or can Notre Dame do what they did to Navy and shut it down? We haven't seen, but I think Bryson, the quarterback for Army, is an absolute dog. Yeah, he's a tough son of a bitch, man. I'm telling you what, he's not going to just lay down in this ball game.
That's troops, baby.
That's right. Respect the troops, but respectfully, I think Notre Dame covers the 14.5 points that ESPN bet's given them, and they decide they had the talent gap's going to show itself at the end of the game if Notre Dame doesn't throw it away in the first quarter. Because if you get down 21 points in the first quarter, they're going to run the fuck out of the clock. You ain't going to have possessions. You ain't going to be able to score fast enough, and you lose the game.
Are you saying a team full of the future leaders of defending our country and our nation are not as talented as your schoolboys?
1,000%. I just said that. And what I need them to do is mainly focus on protecting our country and not playing football. So we're gonna let them have an early season.
Protecting everybody from Notre Dame being in the media more than they.
There you go. I'm gonna have them protect and be at home earlier this year than they thought, and they're gonna have a good time preparing themselves for the defending our country. Fight on, Army. But no, Notre Dame wins this ball game. What's your guys' thoughts? I mean, I think Dan's leaning the other way because he just hates Notre Dame, so that's okay.
No, I think they probably have the edge. I do, but I still think they have the edge in the. I would say it's again probably 75% of my gut says it's going to be them, but there's a chance. You never know.
There's always a chance, man. Undefeated.
Notre Dame has shown they're vulnerable.
Yes, they have.
So.
All right.
I think Notre Dame waxes. So
I think it turns into a Navy. I think it's all fun until they get on the field.
It is what it is, right? Hold on, real quick. Shout out to Notre Dame on the 5-star O tackle
did you see that?
Tackle.
You see that, baby?
Yeah, dude. Number 19 in the country recruit committing
2025.
Yeah, Will Black coming to the Irish, which they continue to be tight end. Yeah, O-line and tight end U. It seems like so.
Welcome to the jungle, baby.
Penn State kind of gives you a run for that.
Okay. Yeah, dude, for sure. Oh yeah,
Penn State. They've got the best guy ever. They still Brett Brackett, dude.
Brett Brackett, he's a receiver.
All time. I know, but just saying all time legend player come out of any school, Brett Brackett.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, puppy. No bueno. So there's other games on here. Kansas, Colorado. I mean, Kansas coming off a big emotional victory, but I think Colorado takes care of business on that game.
Yep.
Let me know. You're gonna say I'll fly through these. Let me know if you guys have a different opinion than what I'm saying.
I don't see any upsets, but again, that's the beauty of
Yeah, that's what happened. That's the last couple of weeks we've been thinking about that. Like, no, there's no really upset.
Yep.
Boom! Holy shit.
Yep.
Penn State, Minnesota game to watch. I don't think it's a game after halftime, but the first half, if Penn State continues to show up not the good team, the first half's gonna be interesting. Minnesota's been putting it to some teams.
Yeah, they've been surprising, and it can be they're all over. Like they just seem to turn it on randomly, and when they do,
Yeah.
it's a risk.
Yeah, I mean they're still
I,
giving them 12.5 points, but
Yep.
we've seen what can happen. Minnesota's proven this year, especially at home too. I mean,
The Gophers.
yeah, the Gophers coming out the holes randomly. Interesting. I don't think they
I don't know,
lose,
man.
but I think it's gonna be a close matchup right off the bat.
Yeah, we'll see. Yeah, it'll have to be a halftime. We'll decide, what's going to happen to the rest of the game, I think. So,
Yep. And then obviously Texas is gonna handle business against Kentucky.
Mhm.
I think that's nothing. Georgia plays Massachusetts, UMass, so good for them scheduling them. That's awesome. Breaking news
Oh,
though,
the
Notre
competition.
Dame's scheduled Texas for a home for 28 and 29. 2028, 2029. They're playing Texas at home twice, back-to-back years. So that's pretty cool setup.
What the
Go-
fuck? How does that work?
I don't know, go Irish, but they said, fuck you, I'm not going to
How
Texas.
does
You
that
can
work?
come
They're
here,
like, We're
bro.
not going to Texas. Yeah. You want to play us? Sure. But it's got to be here.
Gotta
All
be
right.
in Notre Dame in November.
Wow, that's a wild.
We're gonna do a 2-game series. Like, all right, we'll split it. They're like, no, you can split your time. You're here and here,
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's our
and
house,
we're gonna
bitch.
pay you. We'll pay you. And the second time, we're paying you half.
That's
Yep.
that's Notre Dame football, baby. That's how we do it.
They'll be like, God said so. Sorry, God said
Yeah.
it. We can't.
Did you see that guy? You see him? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's pretty important. I don't know if you fucking knew this or not.
He's saying he's like, what's the problem? Do it. Like,
Yeah, fucking do it. All right, let's dive into what everyone's kind of probably going to be here. Okay, let's dive into this. I got to move these because we're getting cut off, and I don't like that. There we go. Oh, that cuts that off.
sorry, people
Shimmer
want
me
to see the
temper right
bracket
there.
more than they probably want to see us.
Okay, so the projected college football bracket, which isn't projected, this is the official. I'm assuming, right?
As it stands, whatever. We're gonna go.
Oh,
with
it's
it. Run with
projected
it.
as in like that they're foreseeing the future. I got you. Okay.
Oh, yeah. They're projecting who the conference champions are
Yeah,
going to be.
pretty much. Yeah. So Oregon, obviously 1, that hasn't changed. Texas 2, I don't think that's changed. Miami number 3, and then Boise State as your 4th and final bye at the 4th spot, which is that's crazy. That BYU loss meant a lot. Obviously, they're saying the Mountain West champion is going to be more important than the Big 12 champion, which I personally don't believe so. I am a Boise State homer. I think that 4th spot should be not dedicated, but should be pretty open to the Big 12. But damn, that's crazy. So, what's your thoughts on the top 4? Are you guys okay with the top 4? I mean, the conference champions.
Yeah, it's 9 and 11 that are bothering me because we already talked about that. They are just keeping them around.
Yeah.
So the top 4 I think is going to be accurate. And if I'm not mistaken, they take the higher ranked of the conference champions, right? So you get so that's why they have Boise. Yeah. That's why they have Boise at 4 because they are ranked higher than a BYU who wins the Big 12 or Colorado or whatever, right? So
correct.
That's how that's going to shake out. But I want to see how the rest of the year goes, right? Because these SEC teams have all played each other. The benefit of the rest of these Big 10 teams don't play each other, right? So when it gets interesting is when you have some of these lower ranked teams win a conference championship, right? So Colorado sitting at 16, like I said, they win the conference championship. They get an automatic bid to this, which then, okay, Colorado wins. Then what do you do with that BYU, right? What do you know what I mean? So like, it's going to get interesting. So it'll be kind of crazy to see what happens. That's when it starts really shaking up if you get some of the outside teams winning those. But the top 4 makes sense to me. If everybody runs the gauntlet like they should, I think that those all make sense. But yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
But man, you're right. I don't like those 2 lost teams, potentially 3 lost teams.
It's tough, isn't it? I mean, they got to handle business, and I don't know. And I don't really. So hear me out. Like they say bias, but like the bracket doesn't. The bracket shows bias right here, But like the top
Mhm.
25 that they just released, like to rank these teams, is not like there's only one team, which is Texas, in the top 7, which is
Right.
crazy. But then obviously you put them in
Yep.
the bracket, how all whatever the fucking formula they're using here
Yep.
to
Yep.
get them
Yep.
out. It's like holy shit. So it's like it's kind of I'm like a 50-50. Like yeah, no, like it's tough. But a 2-loss
You,
team over Miami, and then I'm talking about the top 25. I'm sorry, but
yeah.
it's just I don't know. It's tough, right? And these schedules, the last couple weeks of these teams, there's really no one playing. The only one that could really shake some shit up would be the winner of going to the SEC championship game, which would be Texas A&M right now.
Why?
Which is
Shit.
bananas, right? They have their only loss in the SEC, which is to South Carolina.
Right, but yeah, they're punishing Texas A&M, but they played an out of conference game against Notre Dame beginning of the year.
Yeah, to start the game, first
You know what I
fucking
mean?
snap of the year, they're playing a top
So
25 team or top 10
they
at the time.
yeah. So they're punishing Texas A&M, they as in the general people who agree that some of these SEC teams that have a tough schedule because they play in the SEC, which I'm fucking sick of, right? They're punishing Texas A&M for what they've done. They have 2 losses on the year, 1 out of conference, 1 in conference, right? So, I mean, they went and scheduled these more difficult schedules, but then aren't being rewarded like the others are, like in Alabama sitting at 7, or a Georgia sitting at 10, or a Tennessee sitting at 11. Like, what do we do? What are we doing? You know what I mean? Like, make up your mind. It's either you schedule these hard games and you lose them and you get rewarded for it, or you schedule these hard games, you lose them and you still get rewarded for it, which is what they're trying to do. You can only play, and this is the beginning of the rant, so I'm gonna apologize right now. But you can only play the fucking people that you play, each and everybody on your schedule, right? So Oregon, 11-0. They played the people in the Big Ten who they were scheduled to play for the new schedule that they got for the Big Ten being in there.
And they beat them.
And they've beaten everybody, right? Not everybody handedly, but they beat them. They haven't dropped them down out of 1. You know what I mean? So Ohio State's done the same thing. They beat everybody else other than Oregon, which is the number 1 team in the country. Penn State beat everybody. Granted, I know they're not the strongest people. IU has not played the strongest people within their conference either. But what else are you supposed to ask them to do? Hey, you're like, hey, schedule me the top 7 of the Big Ten and not the bottom 7, right? You can't do that. There's no.
And I'm pretty sure no one. Yeah, the conference controls on who does what on certain weeks too, like you're saying. So like to add to your points, like
and how far out do they schedule, right? Like IU had no idea when they scheduled stuff this year. Whenever it was probably they were like the Signetti probably they were all that kind of stuff. They're like none of that was even a thought, right?
Yeah, not even close.
So you try to keep it balanced. You schedule according to how you've played, historically to give yourself a chance to grow, right, or do whatever. But you're not going to set yourself up for absolute failure either.
And we're all that's what the beauty of this sport is though too, is you're always going to have these shows and these podcasts and these kind of things happening because there is always going to be conversation. You'll never get everybody plays everybody. So we're going to find out who the actual best team is. No, you're going to find out who the best teams are that day for that game. And then that team is going to advance. And then you're going to find out the next game, who is the best team on that day on that game, right? So you're never going to know if IU could survive in the SEC. I know a lot of people are going to laugh at that, but you honestly will never understand or figure that out. Penn State's the same way. If you take some of these teams and swap it, you don't know if it's going to turn out to be the same way. That's why I told you the SEC, I will even say the Big Ten bias of like, they play each other, they beat the shit out of each other. Are they good or are they mediocre? We don't know because they all have the same schedules and the same losses and the same amount of wins against the same people. So like, how do you judge? And the only people that judge this are the College Football Playoff Committee, the Associated Press.
I learned that some of the people in this College Football Playoff Committee aren't even like they don't even like know college football. Like they're like something of another sport, or like ADs of like Alabama, or like some of these athletic directors for these schools. Like, how the fuck, who picked this panel?
Yeah, that's the
even
tricky
even
part
though
is any school, anybody. Like, it doesn't matter if it's Mercer, like, if your team potentially has, that to me should be a conflict. It should all be people independent of the schools.
well, they're all gonna. I mean, you have to be you can't have like IU's or not so IU, but Illinois' athletic director in there saying, "Oh, I'm gonna put IU or Illinois at 5,"
I think
even
it
though
should be
they're 7-3.
it should be all people outside of it, whether it be media or like retired somebody, but because think of
Associated
like
Press is that.
that's what I
Yeah,
mean,
that's
is
what
like that's
But now the AP press that like the AP polls like they don't mean shit no more. Like now no one cares about it. Now everyone's looking at college football. So that's all that matters.
They
Playoffs.
do up until the college football playoff rankings come out. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just
exactly.
they're all talking points. That's what it is. These rankings don't really mean anything until the end of the day because everybody, no matter your affiliation with the school, if you're outside looking in, if you know anything about college football, if you know a lot about college football, it's all biased. It's all, subjective anyways. So there's never going to be a perfect solution unless you have these 134 teams play each other 134 times to find out who
Yeah,
has the
just
best record.
Put a
I'd
big
like
ass
to see
March
that.
Madness bracket.
That'd be a
Yeah.
pretty epic.
That'd be
But
fucking nuts.
you know what I mean? We'll never ever get to an unbiased, non-subjective kind of turnout or result, right? That's just what it is. So you play the teams on your schedule. If you beat those teams or majority or 90% of those teams, why is it keeping you from being at the top of the list, right? There's no reason IU shouldn't be second in the country because of their 10-0 record right now. That's just the way I see it. That's all you can do. I understand strength of a schedule is a thing, but 9 times out, 80, 75% of the time, it's not up to you, right? You can schedule your out of conference stuff like Notre Dame. They've got full control over who they want to play. They have any deal that they want to sign, which is great for an independent, especially Notre Dame. That's why they should never join.
Yeah, it's awesome until you go fucking undefeated and you're still outside the top 4 and you can't get a bye week and get beaten in the first round.
Right, but that's
there's all falls to it.
Yeah, but they get to schedule who they want. You know what I mean? And they can schedule Texas at home for the years back to back. So like you know what I mean? Care. So they have that freedom, dude. And you'll take your wins with your losses. But like that's part of me is just I want to just get back to the simplicity of it. Win your games. If you win all your games, you've shown everybody in the schedule and the amount of people that you've played that you deserve to be there at the end of the year. That's just as simply as I can put it, and the best way to go
that's what I thought this college football bracket was going to be. Because like the last couple of years, well, I think like 10 years now, but like the top 4, right? Those are college football playoffs. Here we go, right? So 1 plays 2 to 4, and 2 plays 3, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And then everything else is fall in from 1 to 12.
Right.
I guess I wasn't thinking about like conference champions and things like that, but like honestly. Shouldn't it be the top 1 through 12 and throw them in a fucking bracket and go? Like, wouldn't that be easier?
You would think so, but then you don't give
everyone a fair chance. I don't give a shit.
Not even everybody. But they're trying to make because the conference championship didn't mean anything.
Yeah, that's true.
Right?
No one gives a shit. And some people don't even want to go to the conference championship just so they can have a fucking fresh legs for the playoffs. Like
right. And I'm telling you, a lot of people want to win those games. I'm not saying they're competitive at nature. Like I'm not saying everyone's like, I'm going to sit out. Bowl games, on the other hand, you're probably a majority of those people aren't going to show up to those games that aren't college football playoff. Right. That's just the nature of those things anymore. Those bowl games are just money grabs now that we have a 12-team playoff.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. Like I said, never going to be a perfect solution.
No,
it's always going to create content for this format of a show, anyways. So I'm here for it.
Thank you, college football. That's why we love you. But also, it's why we get irritated and upset too. So looking at this, so Texas has to play Texas A&M the last game of the season, and they're number 1 and 2 in the conference right now. So if Texas A&M pulls a win out and beats Texas, now what? Now Texas is a 2-loss team. Now who gets bumped out? Ole Miss, Alabama, Georgia. Who goes bumped out? Oh shit! IU beats Ohio State. Oh shit! Now what's up? Ohio State getting bumped out of the playoffs?
Shit! What I'm saying? IU beats Oregon in the Big Ten championship. Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? What's it look like?
There's so many hypotheticals, and I love this shit. I absolutely love it. So, I mean, like to your point, there's not going to be any perfect solution,
Right.
but we have to just respect them anyway for just throwing this out there and trying this out. As this is the first
Yeah.
year, everyone needs to realize that
Mhm.
too. Like there's going to be a lot of kinks to work out. This is the first year of it all getting laid out. Everything's whatever. But I'm telling you what, this is going to be huge for football going forward and just the competitive nature. Like we're saying, how many times did we see games this week from week 0 all the way to now that were like, holy shit, you don't see these games until later in the year. You know, week 9, week 10, week 11. Like we're seeing ball games. Texas, Michigan,
Right.
week 3 or week 2, whatever it was, or Alabama, Georgia, week 5, or like holy fuck, like you don't see that,
Right.
and it would okay, cool, they lost or won or whatever, but it wouldn't mean that much. But now it means everything. Like, and that's why I was so hard on Notre Dame when they lost Northern Illinois. It's like, what the fuck? Like, you have one goal, and the only way to get there is pretty much win your season, like win your schedule. So it's just.
But some people would argue that though, and that's what irritates me. Is
Yeah.
like you'll be like, you look at Georgia, 2-loss team. Oh, we lost to number 5 or whoever the fuck. I don't know what they were at that time, but like if you go, okay, I'm gonna click on Georgia's schedule. They lost to number 16 Ole Miss, and they lost to number 4 Alabama at the time when they lost those games. Right?
Yeah.
I get it. Your schedule's crazy hard, but you also got beat. You beat Clemson when they were 14, but they're not really Clemson of old. Right. So you can't.
Yeah, that's first game of the year. So it's like the same thing, Notre Dame, Texas A&M. Like everyone's like, holy shit,
Right.
like that's a big game.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you cannot punish and reward people for the same thing. That just doesn't work.
Yeah,
You cannot do that.
Try doing that in parenting and see how it works out for you. You know what I'm saying? Like try doing that with your kids and see how that fucking works.
I look at it like Gladiator, right? What the guy told me: win the crowd, win your favor. You gotta win the crowd to your side, and that's like you said though, that's where that popularity contest comes in, right? The loudest, who's got the loudest fan base, who's going to be the most vocal, and unfortunately, that shouldn't sway things or impact things, and whether they admit it or not, like it does, right?
Oh yeah, I mean,
it depends, but yeah,
Alabama beats number 2 Georgia. At Georgia, so they're probably looking at that too. Holy shit, they went on the road. Whatever. Number 11 Tennessee on the road. No, they were at home in Georgia. Sorry, on the road to Tennessee. Number 11 in the country, lost to them. Oh, not. And then you go to Mizzou, 30-4-0. LSU's ranked 15th. You beat them. Like they have ranked wins and shit on their thing, but it's like, but then you see the loss to Vandy, and that should haunt them. You see the loss to Tennessee, that should haunt them, and that should dock them. But they're still sitting right there at number 9. Which, can we talk about that though? Notre Dame. Sorry, I took it off screen. I can pull it back up, but Notre Dame getting a home game right now. Like if it started today, Notre Dame having Alabama come here. I mean, does that give us an advantage? Like, come on now, man. That's Alabama.
I don't know, man.
It'd be a tough game, but god damn.
Yeah, that's why I saw the same bracket and I was like, Penn State playing Georgia
at home.
I mean, at home better be
bro.
Fucking not a noon game. I'll tell you that.
Well, it will be. It'll be 11:30 kickoff.
Big noon kickoff, baby.
They'll probably do Friday lunchtime, baby. Friday at lunchtime.
Friday at noon.
Let's hit big noon brunch. That's what they're gonna call it, dude.
Or they'll do it like after church football brunch.
Sunday afternoon.
Sunday at 9:30 a.m.
Yeah, game gotta be done by 1.
We're gonna dominate that time slot. Yeah. Okay.
Our time slot. I love it.
Oh,
so
man.
that's God damn it. You guys are fucking killing me right now. Let's jump over to NFL now that we kind of got all of our rants out of the way. We got our feelings going. We looked at the schedule of week 12 and reacted to that. We looked at 13 and predicted winners of those. So now let's jump over to the NFL side. We haven't touched on the NFL in quite a couple weeks, actually. And I want to now, just because I'm looking at the divisions, and there's some big time heavy hitters going on here, and there's some big time race for the number 1 pick in the playoffs, or the draft right now. Everyone's kind of racing for that. So got some teams that have a chance. So let's dive into. I'm gonna look at the AFC boys, AFC East, North, South, West, and then we'll go into an NFC. So we'll start right at the top, right? And AFC East, the Buffalo Bills lead it, especially after that Kansas City loss. or
Easy.
win, they won there. I mean, that's crazy. They're going to win that conference. Like, there's
Easy.
no choice, and then probably have a number 1 seed, or maybe not a bye. It just depends on what Kansas City does. But then you got Miami at 4-6, New York Jets 3-8, and New England Patriots 3-8. Like, those bottom 2 teams, like, fucking me, man. So my question is to you boys: does the Miami Dolphins have a chance
Nope.
to even get into the playoffs?
No.
No?
Yes, they do if they buy tickets and sit in one of the games,
Oh, okay.
like in the stands.
Yeah,
Perfect.
there you go. That's a
So
good answer.
So this is a
Good answer.
like
good
we say,
answer, good answer.
clear cut. Buffalo Bills winning that AFC East. AFC
Mhm.
North, we got a little different story. We got 2 teams dominating each other. They just got done playing, and the Pittsburgh Steelers came out on top. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are 8-2. Baltimore Ravens are 7-4. Then you got the Cincinnati Bengals, which are very surprising to a lot of people, sitting at 4-7, just can't get it going. And then the Cleveland Browns 2-8. One of those teams that are really looking for that number 1 draft pick. So this AFC North, who is going to prevail to be on top? A lot of people say the Baltimore Ravens in the beginning of the year, and now we're rolling, and the Steelers look like a wagon.
I still want to see the Ravens do it, but I mean, the Steelers clearly have a chance, just as much of a chance.
Yeah, and
I mean, they'll get in the playoffs. Baltimore is going to get in there. I don't know if they'll win the
Oh,
division.
yeah.
We'll see, but I mean,
Yeah,
Russell
wild
Wilson
card.
didn't play good. You know what I mean? He didn't play great. So, like,
No,
you still got to think about that kind of stuff. I mean, when does Fields come in? You know what I mean?
he won't come in. I promise you, they won't put him back in.
Yeah,
crazy.
no, they're using him though in like running situations. Like they have
Good.
they ran some good formations with him, which is cool because he's athletic. Why not get him in there? Use him.
He's very, very athletic, and yeah, needs to be on the
Mhm.
field. Throw a different wrench at a defense to keep him off balance.
Oh yeah, for
they're on
sure.
a 5-game win streak right now. The Pittsburgh Steelers are, so obviously they got momentum rolling in, and it really helps when the conference is tight like this. So AFC North, it's pretty much coin flip. I would say Pittsburgh Steelers, Baltimore Ravens at this point, because there's still a lot of football left to be played. The AFC South, your Houston Texans are 7-4 on top of the division, and the Indianapolis Colts 5-6 with a huge win over the Jets. I know it's the Jets, but saw some good things out of the Indianapolis Colts. And the only way we continue to drive, we might have a chance at a wild card. I mean, we have
no. Dude, hey, I just looked at the Colts schedule for the rest of the year. You got Detroit, and then you have New England. Then you have a bye. Denver, Tennessee, New York Giants, and Jacksonville. That is gift wrapped and handed to you right there to make the playoffs.
So Richardson, Jonathan Taylor, Quentin Nelson.
My God, dude.
Boys, it's time to go.
I know he is a Colts fan. You watched the game, and I know you saw AR5 blast those dudes.
Dude.
Oh
Dude,
my God.
Pat McAfee said it best. He said he turned that defender into a Pez dispenser. He popped that fucking head back. Oh my. That's 250 pounds.
Dude.
Busting your ass on the goal line. He did it twice.
I watched, you know what I did? I watched that game immediately when that game was over. I turned on Madden 25. And you know what I did? I traded away. I didn't even trade Daniel Jones. I cut him. And then I traded for Anthony Richardson. And I was like, get over the Giants. We're running this stuff.
So then
that's
continuing.
the go-to in Madden. We would do that every year. Remember, it's like, oh, let's do fantasy drafts, and then we pick pick the young quarterbacks away from their teams.
I'm not fucking buying Madden until it's on Game Pass. Just saying.
Dude, there's nothing wrong with that. Hey, save the money. It makes sense. Do it.
I'm buying Farming Simulator 25. That motherfucker just came out, and I want it bad. I got a bad itch. I'm trying to raise some crops. I'm trying to fucking raise some cattle, baby. Come on.
Don't play with our nephew. He'll come in.
Yeah, he's an asshole.
Spend all your money.
Invited him to my farm, and I gave him permissions to buy some equipment. Bought a whole bunch of shit. And then fucking crash into a ditch, and I'm like, dude, I just worked hours on this account, and I just it's all gone.
All I learned how to do was cut trees, and I was just trying to cut trees and line my logs up, and Hunter would come and he just drive through, knock everything over.
Stack. He's stacking all night. Asshole. We love him.
I hope he's watching, this little piece of shit. I love him.
Yeah, I was gonna say easy. So the Tennessee Titans are 2-8, and the Jacksonville Jaguars are 2-9. So another 2 teams that are fighting for that first round pick in the 2026, would it be? No, 2025 NFL draft. So last division, AFC West, the Kansas City Chiefs 9-1 actually got their first loss of the year, but don't look too close because the Los Angeles Chargers are 7-3 and they're on a 4-game win streak, and Mr. Harbaugh has them boys fucking rolling, and they look good. They look good on Sunday Night Football. but not too far behind them is the Denver Broncos. Guys, that could be another team right there too. You'll know the wild card, something along the lines. And then you got the Las Vegas Raiders at 2-8, and I think they're tanking for Sadir Sanders because Sadir Sanders really, really wants to go to the Raiders and live in Vegas. He said multiple times out loud. And
well, they don't need to tank for him. I don't know if the other two teams that are dog shit like the
Tennessee
Giants
needs a
and
quarterback. Cleveland needs a
Browns.
quarterback.
Yep. Winston might be their dude. I don't know.
Also, we have to make. We're not. It's the Raiders. You got to.
The Raiders. There you go. So, I think that's the most competitive division in the AFC right now with those three teams: Kansas City, the Chargers, and the Denver Broncos. Right now, I mean, it's getting to that time, right? So it's everything kind of matters now, and then we're going to start seeing that play on the field start going on. Like the Colts, if they can continue rolling, like we talked about, a chance to get into the wild card and make a noise. And they go up to all the way to Miami. Do they have a chance? Can they continue winning? Can they do their thing? You never know. And right now is a great time. Let's jump over to I don't know. I think these are all like the shitty teams. The NFC right now. The NFC is not hot right now at all. We'll go start the NFC East. The Philadelphia Eagles are 8-2 on a 6-game win streak. Really being really quiet about their 8-2. By the way, they're not like, it's not loud right now for them. But right behind them, which the Washington Commanders, which I don't think anyone would have thought they're going to be over the Dallas Cowboys. They're sitting at 7-4, which is pretty impressive for that team there.
Were you saying that the NFC in general was all the shitty teams, or this division?
Pretty much the division.
No,
all the teams.
The Lions. The Lions are shitty at 9-1.
No, the NFC North is the best division in football.
Okay, I thought you were talking about the NFC as a whole. I was going to say,
the NFC as a whole. The rest of the teams fucking suck. Yeah, the rest of the teams suck.
Yeah, pretty mediocre once you get past the North.
Although the AFC has a couple 2-loss or 2-win teams, which whatever, we won't talk about it. Anyway, Dallas Cowboys, they suck. Their fucking stadium's falling apart, trying to kill people. Jerry Jones, you need a couple more Diet Cokes or salt on your damn McGriddles or whatever the hell you're looking at. And then New York Giants, 2-8, baby. They're looking for that first round draft pick. Come on now. Let's go. Let's go get a quarterback.
I can't wait for them to take just a ridiculous, unnecessary. They're going to
first round.
We're taking a tight end.
Tyler Warren. I'll be like, okay.
Riley Leonard of Notre Dame. You're like, motherfucker.
Oh, how great would it be if they did like a kicker or a punter?
Yeah.
First pick.
Matt McAfee. Oh, damn it. Love it. Oh, let's jump over to the most competitive. Like I just said, the NFC North. The Detroit Lions is probably the best team in football right now. They're not holding up. I don't think you guys can even talk shit about it, really. I think you have to disrespect the fact that Dan Campbell's gnawing on kneecaps and getting it done. On an 8-game win streak, they've been just cooking. They've been absolutely just cooking, man. Their point difference is plus 159. They're outscoring their opponents. So let's go. That's huge. Insane. That's insane, dude. They're 336 to 170. They're only giving 170 points so far. Bananas. But then right behind them, Minnesota Vikings, which no one would have thought with Sam Darnold leading the helm. Jordan still owes this man an apology in real life. I can't wait to be there for that. But they're sitting at 8-2. Again, another team is just like, what? Like, okay, here we go. Green Bay Packers, if they can stay healthy and figure out their quarterback situation, they can be a dominant force too, sitting at 7-3.
They have special teams figured the fuck out. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, well, the Chicago Bears don't have anything figured out. It sounds like there's a lot of noise in the locker room.
Let's be fair. Even against the Packers, where they didn't win, they still actually performed better on offense than they had in how many weeks? Surprisingly, after the
Caleb, he had his best game.
I would say 23 for 31. He didn't throw any touchdowns, right? But he had 200 some passing yards, had 90 rushing yards. Like, it was different than it had been previously. So clearly, the one change they made was a piece of the puzzle, right? Like, not the whole thing. Again, I have said it, and finally, it's starting to be everything in the media is finally they got to get rid of the head coach, right? And I don't know if their interim OC is the long-term thing, but like, it sounds like he's at least kind of letting the guys play to their skills, play the way that they like want to play. But I'm sorry, yeah. So, but the Packers, they win by blocking a freaking field goal.
Yeah, Well, there's a lot of noise in Chicago right now too, especially. I mean, you got guys jogging out the field mid play. You got offensive linemen blaming Caleb Williams for holding the ball too long. You got coaches getting fired. You got GMs getting the hot seat, in which he shouldn't be. He's fucking probably one of the better GMs in football. To be
Yeah,
honest
and
with
he's
you.
still
But
pretty freaking new into his tenure. They let what's his last Ryan Pace or whatever. They let him make years and decades, stuff that affected the team for decades, dumb decisions, and didn't fire him. So
yeah.
let's give
But
polls.
Chicago fans and the media is really in tune. And once you're under the spotlight, you start showing your true colors. And Chicago Bears are doing that right now, and it sucks. It's not fun.
We
But
need to get Ditka back. Let's get Ditka.
fuck yeah, dude. Get Ditka. So the NFC North, the most competitive division in football, I think, right now. Then you jump into the NFC South, which I didn't think any of these teams are going to win more than like 4 games going into the season. So I'm kind of right there though, right? I mean, fuck. Atlanta Falcons 6-5, leading the division. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, they're on a 4-game loss or losing streak right now, which kind of blows because they were kind of cooking. Baker and them had the guys going, but a couple injuries has really, really cemented
It's
them.
the Zen pouches, man. That whole debacle with the Zen pouches.
Got to get zinned up, man. Got to get zinned up. Those are delicious, by the way. And if Zen wants to sponsor this podcast, I'd love to put 4 fucking corners in this thing and just get after it right now. I'm just letting y'all know, Zen. If you're listening,
Red Bull, Zen, and Hooters. That's quite a combination.
Dude, do you want to fucking party? You want to get shit done? Pop a Zen.
Yeah, it's like a frat bro, like Hooters, energy drinks, and Zens.
We're fucking married men with children. And come on, fucking Hooters, man. We're trying.
Yeah,
to
we all have our families that love us. We do.
I'm not trying to single you out, make you feel.
Hang on, what's that, babe? Yes, we're talking about you. She's down here with me. I bring the family. And I know what you're saying. What are you talking about? Like, you guys haven't met her. She goes to another school. So
yeah,
fucking man's tail situation. All right.
No,
New Orleans Saints fired everybody. They fucking
this
suck,
one's just totally imaginary. It's not a person faking. It's just no one.
Not even a stuffy. You didn't bring a stuffy. No. Hugging a stuffy. No. Anyways, the NFC South sucks. Let's put it that way. Right? The Saints suck. Carolina Panthers suck. I'll go to NFC West. The Arizona Cardinals are winning 4 straight right now, which is bananas. And they're above 500, which is cool to see. Kyler Murray, Marvin Harrison Jr. taking care of some business. I'm kind of liking the way Kyler Murray is playing quarterback right now. They're getting him outside the pocket. They're getting him loose. He's not feeling very structured. Like, he doesn't have to feel like he's sitting in a sitting duck getting fucked up, which is cool to see. And you got the Rams. I feel like they have just injury prone all year long. The Seattle Seahawks, I feel like, should be better. I think they got pieces to be good. It's just what's going on there. And then you got the San Francisco 49ers. So all these teams are 5-5-5, right? They all 500 right now. And it's just a lot of injuries in the NFC West. And the Arizona Cardinals are taking advantage of that right now, which is crazy to see. I wouldn't think that in the next first couple of years anyway. But yeah, that's your rundown NFC East and North and South and West. Crazy.
Yuck.
Yeah, yuck is right. Yuck is the word.
I say we started out positive, and then as you wrapped it up, I'm like, why are we talking about football again with all this crap at the back?
Yeah, they got some shit there. I'm going to pull this up real quick. This is the Week 12 slate. So we mentioned there's some bigger games here. Well, not really. Actually, I lied. There's 2 good games that I'm really pumped up to watch. Obviously, Colts and Detroit. And then you got the Monday night game, which finally we get a Monday night game actually might be worth watching. It is the Baltimore Ravens and the Los Angeles Chargers. So that's going to be sweet. Looks like Kansas City's on a bye this week. Thank God. The Raiders and the Broncos could be a little ball game to be fun to watch.
I mean, you've got a couple. The Monday night game's good. The Sunday night game is going to be a good one.
Yeah, it should be.
And obviously I think the Colts Lions game might be good too. So there's 3 good ones to take away from there. I think.
Arizona, Seattle, a 425 slot might be good, but most of the country is probably going to have the Green Bay 49er game on if you don't have Red Zone or whatever NFL ticket.
Yep. Well, shit, that Arizona Seattle game could depend on who's at the top of the division. So
right, that's a divisional rival game right now, going at it. Chicago fighting for their right to survive at home. Whereas the Minnesota Vikings come into town, so that could be a watch as well.
At this point, keep losing.
The bottom of the barrel, can Miami beat New England to stay some type of hopes? The Texans will fucking smoke the Tennessee Titans. The Dallas Cowboys lose to Washington. Yeah, I mean, there's about 3 so I'd give 4 good games in this slate. Not too bad. At least they're spread out a little bit. 1 o'clock, 4 o'clock, Monday night, Sunday night. I like that. I can get down with that. That's the times we're watching, quite honestly. Like, I'm not switching back and forth to football games in the NFL. I'm really, really one team dependent. I lean heavy on the Indianapolis Colts, and if they're not playing, I really don't give a shit until Sunday Night Football comes on, quite honestly, if I'm being honest with you guys. But college football, I'm fucking tuned in all day. Like, before I came down here to the podcast, I was watching Mac just get after it on a goddamn Tuesday night. I love it. Fucking love it.
It's nice to have those weird nights.
Yeah.
Love that shit.
I love that shit. Well, let us know in the comments below what you think. If you think any of these games are noteworthy, let me know and let us know so we can continue providing delicious content. And
I do want to
delicious
point out, because we have done a huge disservice by not talking more about us, but Jordan, I don't know if this name rings a bell, but if you remember the Shawinigan Cataracts up in the QMJHL.
What?
They're the Shawinigan Cataracts. That was our team from NHL.
Oh, Shawinigan.
Shawinigan. Yeah, they are second in their division, man. Doing good.
There you go. Oh yeah, love to hear it.
What, Zach? You don't like the Ontario Minor Junior Hockey League?
I can't say I like it. I can't say I don't. I don't really fucking know. I don't know. Other news in sports. This is kind of a couple weeks late, but Joey Logano is your NASCAR Cup champion. Good for him. If it was the Winston Cup playoffs, good.
Is he Pennzoil?
Yeah, he's Pennzoil. He's the number 22 car.
I know stuff. Jeff Gordon, he's still doing it?
No, but he does. He's part owner of Hendrick Motorsports, which is pretty dope. Good for him. What else do I have? I mentioned I wanted to do something else. Wanted to do something else. I wanted to talk about something real quick. Indiana high school football playoffs. We're in semi-state this weekend. We got a local team. We got Mishawaka Cavemen. They're going to play East Noble at home in Mishawaka, so that'd be a freaking awesome ball game for the 4A semi-state. We got Maryville going to Warsaw. The Warsaw Tigers made it to semi-state as they beat Lafayette Jeff last week in a wild ball game. So they're going to be in the semi-state. This is first semi-state in school history for the Warsaw Tigers, so good for them. If anyone's going to beat Concord and go on, they might as well go on and win state. Damn it. Come on. Do it for the NLC. And then Westfield Wagon, they're going to play, I think, Crown Point. So a couple teams from up northwest and then north up north here, north and northwest, competing for semi-state titles this weekend. So if you are bored, you can turn on that and watch that and kind of follow that. And then also sports, NBA still sucks. That's all I gotta say. I hate NBA. I'm sorry, all NBA fans.
Don't do that.
It's the worst. It's worse. I'd rather watch freaking women's volleyball.
Well, obviously.
For other reasons than that. Okay. Yeah,
right.
Fucking perv. The dominant force and the power what those ladies have on the outside. Oh my lord.
Dude, the NBA is crazy.
NBA is gay.
Cavs just get
I'm just kidding.
The Cavs just got their first loss. I mean, that's pretty crazy.
But that's the only other team that's good in the East. It's the only other good team that's good in the East. The Pacers are ass. The Celtics and the Cavs. That's it. That's all you have.
Celtics are the back-to-back, dude. You just pump the brakes a little bit.
They're only two good teams.
Nah, dude, you're crazy. That's wild.
That's
the wildest thing you've ever said. Yeah.
In the East, come on. Fucking pull it up. We're talking NBA. We're talking about NBA right now.
The Pacers are dog shit, but they shouldn't be dog shit with the talent they have. You know who else shouldn't be dog shit? Is the Milwaukee Bucks and the talent that they have with Giannis and
something about Mbigma.
I can't remember his name.
Mbigma fucking guy. Can you help me with his name?
Mbigma?
Yeah.
Joel Embiid?
Yeah, that motherfucker. I guess he can't show up on time for a meeting or workouts or fucking training. He can't do shit. That's not good for the fucking locker room, dude.
Oh man,
does he play for the Grizzlies or some shit? Timberlands? Who's he play for?
Joel Embiid. He plays for the 76ers.
76ers. Yeah, you ain't been shit since fucking Iverson. You guys been trying.
Wow, dude.
I have no, like literally. I have no idea.
Somebody's not trusting the process.
Trust the process.
Oh, good shit.
They paid that guy a lot of money to sit on the fucking bench.
He gets tired, man.
Gets tired.
He's
Tap out.
AR, tap out.
We all. I thought Dan was going for it. He's just going for a
He
little
didn't
nose
do it. We didn't get the triple tap out. Way to go, Dan.
Way to
Man,
go.
man.
Well, let's wrap this up because
Get with it.
it's been so badass.
You talk about practice, Jordan? It's not a game. Allen Iverson, man, we need. He was something else.
Too bad he didn't get in.
The step over, dude.
Wake up, motherfucker! It's time to play.
You go get that step over from a what was he like 5'5", stepping over other people.
He was 5'5", but his shorts were 6.5 foot long.
Listen, man,
God
he made the
damn.
sleeve. He made the sleeve cool. He made the long shorts cool. He had his Iverson shoes.
My linebackers coach at Manchester, the whitest dude ever, but God, he was a white Iverson. So when Post Malone dropped that song, we were in college, and when that came out, we showed him. He's like, "Holy shit, this is me, bro." He had the long baggy shorts. He always fucking wore wristbands at practice and shit. Like he was all in.
That's fantastic.
He was awesome. Shout out Coach Higgy. Gosh, shout out Coach
man.
Higgy. Wonder what he's doing these days. I don't know why I got NBA standings up right now. Like I don't fucking care.
Let's go, dude. Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Like I fucking care.
I don't give a fuck. Oh, they can stop playing basketball and I really give a rat's ass. I just don't pay attention to it. Besides college hoops. Come on, college hoops. Let's go. UConn's
yeah,
gonna run it back.
They'll get their time.
Yeah. But my time's valuable, so is Dan's and so is Jordan's. But we love producing this for you guys. But you know, it kind of hurts my feelings if no one wants to subscribe. Makes me want to cry. Just kidding. I don't give a shit. I'm gonna keep doing it. But it would be really, really cool if you guys did hit that subscribe button. Join us on this fun journey that we have every single week on Tuesdays. We are recording. It will be produced and it'll just be produced. And it'll be on YouTube on Wednesdays. So, and then obviously on a ticker below, if you have not noticed yet, I got the Facebook group, I got TikTok and the YouTube. So if you aren't subscribed, you know where to go. And also new to the Winning Edge, I guess, sports media world, the live streams are Wednesday, Thursday, 8:30. I've been playing 8:30 p.m. Eastern. I've been playing College Football 25, trying to rebuild the Navy midshipman into a fucking wagon. And I'm telling you, year one's over. I hustled through. We got through year one. Now we're getting some recruits on campus. You better watch out, brother. I'm just letting y'all know. So stay tuned to that. I'll be live tomorrow and Thursday at 8:30 Eastern, playing that live on YouTube, Twitch, and trying to get Facebook set up. Honestly, Facebook's been taking me off, but we'll figure that out. I'm sure my buddy Jordan can help me. But appreciate you guys joining in. We'll be here again Tuesday, and we'll be here the next Tuesday, and the next Tuesday, and the next Tuesday. Anything else for the folks?
No.
Tuck your family in, man. Kiss them good night.
Yeah, let them know. Say, hey, tell them we said bye.
Yeah. What's that? I'm sorry if you hear the kids screaming, but they all said they love you guys.
All right. Well, you're an hour behind, so that's good. I was gonna say it's pretty late. Go sports. We love sports. See you guys on the next time.